About a decade ago, after 3 exhausting late nights as a corporate lawyer grinding out documents to sell a company, I watched yet another male founder exit, creating wealth for himself and his investors. I remember thinking, why am I sitting on the sidelines? I also began to wonder, where are the women? Where are our voices in the early stages of innovation when we have the most potential to shape the future and create wealth for ourselves? As potential women investors, ask yourself, what does the world look like when our risk-taking works out? When I started law practice at a global firm in New York, I focused on eliminating the downsides in business deals. I was literally rewarded for finding and avoiding risk. I was good at it. I never imagined one day I would risk my own capital as an early stage investor. A few years after I opened a law practice in California, I was surrounded by entrepreneurs, mostly men, taking huge risks to launch and scale companies. Some of them asked if I wanted to trade startup legal services for equity in their companies. At first, I thought these opportunities were too risky. I turned them down. After a few years of just watching, I began to see things differently. I asked myself, what if staying on the sidelines is actually riskier than stepping out of my comfort zone? Here's the thing. Over the past 30 years, massive wealth has been created through the earliest stages of private investing, including angel investing and venture capital. Angel investing means funding a startup in its earliest phase, sometimes when it's only an idea. This is more than just investing dollars. It's a vote for the ideas that shape the future we all live in. Stepping into this world wasn't easy for me. Like many women, I had to navigate my own doubts and lack of exposure to investor networks. I quickly realized I'm not alone. It might surprise you that until 1974, American women didn't have a legal right to open a bank account or get a credit card without a male co-signer. Ridiculous. But today, 50 years later, according to data from McKinsey & Company, we control over $15 trillion of investable wealth in the US, or nearly a third. Because of our longevity and increased earning power, we're poised to control nearly $34 trillion by 2030. This will represent nearly 40% of investable wealth in the US. That's a lot of investing power. As women, if we're not part of early funding decisions, our priorities, experiences, and values risk being left out of innovations that could profoundly shape our future. Things that could really benefit us, like advanced diagnostics for maternal and reproductive health, financial products designed for our unique needs, and technologies that prioritize our well-being, safety, and security. We could also miss out on some of the greatest opportunities to create wealth for ourselves and the freedom that brings. As long as I've been aware, early-stage investing has mostly occurred through male-led venture capital firms and investor networks. This has led to an imbalance in the types of companies that get funded and the perspectives that influence innovation. As more wealth transitions into women's hands, we have an opportunity to rebalance the scales. How? We can back ventures that reflect our lived experiences, needs, and priorities. Instead of thinking only about large language models, chiplets, and robotics, we can also choose to fund women's health tech and childcare innovation. Imagine that. I know many women feel we lack the permission or perfect qualifications to invest. Today, we can invest in early-stage companies if we meet the financial criteria. The real barrier is often our mindset and lack of exposure to the possibilities. We often wait for perfect knowledge before we take a leap. The reality is, waiting could be the biggest risk of all. One of the myths about early-stage investing is that it's only for the ultra-wealthy. While some investments do require 6- and 7-figure checks, many newer opportunities have much lower minimums, from $5,000 to $25,000. That means it's more accessible than you might think. The biggest hurdle for many women isn't money. It's our lack of access to key networks and knowledge. The good news is that's changing. Across the country and online, women-led communities are creating places where aspiring investors can connect, learn, and start our journey in a fun, supportive environment. Invites are popping up in my email almost weekly. Jump in and connect with these communities. They can provide education, mentors, deal flow, and the confidence that comes from learning alongside others. Listen, we don't need to become experts overnight, but we owe it to ourselves to learn about opportunities to shape the future and create wealth. I spent too long waiting for permission, thinking I wasn't ready or qualified. Finally, I realized there is no perfect moment. I needed to jump in. The only permission you need is your own. Don't wait. Embrace the power you already have and invest in the future you want to live in. Thank you.